Hey, good morning, Mr. Charles. I love you and Terry, the two of you. The fun, you guys are a lot of fun, taunting me with your 49ers caps and hats. And Terry doesn't believe there's any chance in hell your 49ers can lose this weekend. You could see it. He'll tell you otherwise, but you could see it in his face. It's filled with glee like a child at at Christmas. I can't hear you, Charles. You're muted out, my man. I still can't hear you. Hey, Charles, how you doing? Good to see you again. We haven't seen you in a bit. Hopefully, Mr. E.F. Hutton. Charles, I cannot hear you. You're muted. I still don't hear you, brother. I don't know what's going on. Maybe just come out and come back in. So click yourself out. It's not headphone related. It's microphone related. But you know what? These are the most intelligent things Charles has ever said. And man, we're missing it. What a bummer. I'm going to kick you out and then here, hold on. He's gone. So anyway, while he's gone, let's talk a little bit about last night. If you didn't get a chance to see Miss Katie Davis McCarthy, fantastic guest, a lot of fun. You can see everybody smiling. It was a good time. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. A lot of people have watched it. A lot of thumbs up on that one. So again, if you like what you see here, you can give us thumbs up. Another way, there's a little thanks button down here now that the folks from Google allow us to use. So if you make some money at the track, give us a little bit of thumbs up on that and a little bit of love. Tonight, you're going to want to tune in as well to Horse Center. Got another good guest on. That'll be at 8 p.m. this evening. Let's bring up the promo here for tonight. We're going to have a trainer, David Fox. Yes, he works closely with Julie Ramjeet. So Julie and Sean and David Fox will be on tonight. Are you there, Charles?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed. Hello, Hamdi. How are you? How are things in Turkey today? Hopefully going well, though I see for our good friend here in the U.S., Enos Cantor is not welcome in Turkey any longer. It shouldn't be the case, man. People should be a right to their opinions. I know people get mad if you get them a little bit upset, but you know what? If your opinions can't stand up to scrutiny, then you shouldn't probably have those opinions in the first place, right?
Like my opinion, Niners are going all the way.
Like I said, if it can't stand up to scrutiny, you shouldn't have an opinion. But we do have some opinions on horse racing. Sometimes we stand up to scrutiny, Charles, and
that's right.
We don't. So, well, today we're going to do our best at the Gulfstream Park down in southern Florida, where it's hot. I will be there on February the 4th with Jamie and Willie. So you're going to want to, if you're in the neighborhood, make sure you stop in, say hello. We'll be at Tampa Bay Downs on February the 1st. So if you're in Florida for those days, please stop in, say hi, shake hands, and let's put some faces together with comment sections. How about that? What do you think, Charles?
That sounds good. But they're seeing your face, so.
Well, yeah, they might run me. We'll be also at Oaklawn Park for the Apple Blossom in the middle of April. Myself, Terry, Tom, and maybe, who knows, Charles might show up there as a special guest too. All right, you ready to get cracking, my friend, with the first race today at Gulfstream Park?
Yeah, a lot of scratches today, but I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's not been any since we got started, but there probably will be. Race 1 is 1 mile on the turf. It is at claiming 50,000 non-winners of 2 in their lifetimes. If you look at the distance and surface, you typically want a horse that has tactical speed. 30% of the horses on this track have gone wire to wire. There is a little bit of a rail bonus. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7, a little bit of a bump. 8 and out is where the penalty exists, Charles. Let's take a look at our speed chart. These are 1,000 simulations for the who's going to have the lead at the quarter-mile marker, and then we do 1,000 simulations using the speed numbers to determine what percentage of the races they would win, and then calculate some odds out. And just a little bit of background on that. Yesterday, I did some work on looking at the Parks numbers, and those horses that we had ranked first finished first or second, and I think it was 11 races, 8 of those 11 races yesterday. So that's a pretty good horse to keep your eye on. What do you see here?
Yeah, today in this first race, it looks like the 7 horse has a 47% chance of getting to the lead at the quarter pole. So, and the 5 has got the 23% chance. I personally think the 5 is going to have the lead, but the 7 does have speed, and it could possibly do that. And then you have the 2 and the 3 possibly chasing them and pressuring them all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to the simulation odds, We have the one horse going off a simulation odds of 6-1, and morning line is 8-1. That's pretty good if you ask me. And then the three is uh, just slightly over 3-1 on the simulation odds, and the morning line is 4. And then the five is almost 2-1, but morning line says 3.5-1 or better.
Yeah, so you get 8-5 on that 5-horse Tempura. Might be a good place to go. We also like to look at how the race shape might figure out which horses will get a good trip. The 3-horse is not in this race. It was also mentioned there in the simulations. All but the 4 have similar early pace. So I think this race is going to have everybody kind of bunched up. And then if you look at all but the 8 and 4 have similar early pace, late pace combinations. I've seen this shape way too many times, Charles, where you have all these horses on paper that go here, and then you have this one guy over here by himself. So the E-horses like to go wire to wire. I call them pilots. The EPs are your pilots or co-pilots. Ps tend to be co-pilots. PCs can co-pilot or come from coach. And then, of course, the closers, they always come from the back of the plane to the front of the plane. So let's get started with our picks for race number 1.
Yeah, with you saying that, your single speed horse on that paper is the 5, but on the simulation, it's saying the 7 is probably most likely, right? Well, I do believe the 5 is going to get the lead, but I do think the 7 is going to be right there. I think they're going to kind of go at each other. So I think it's going to set up for the 1 here. You got a closer here. It's got that tactical closing speed. This is this horse's 3rd race after a layoff. My favorite angle. You got a drop here in class. So that's why I think everything's now pointing towards this horse. The 4-horse is my second choice. This one also drops in class today. The trainer gets 24% at 46 plus days off. And this horse is definitely bred for this. This horse is from Great Britain, bred there, but for the turf. And then I have the 5-horse as my 3rd choice here. This horse ran 3rd last time out. This is another one that's running 3rd after a layoff. Gets Tyler Gaffleon. So this horse is definitely going to be right there in the mix at the end. And my price horse here I have is the 6. This horse has got a little bit of tactical speed, probably a little bit more on the closing side of it. One last time out, does move up in class, but after you win, you should be starting to move up in class.
You got a bet here too, the pick 3?
And my pick 3, I got a pick 3 here. I'm taking all 4 of my picks here in this first leg. And then I'm going in the second race, the second leg of my pick 3. I'm taking my top 4 picks. And then I'm singling out with my best bet of the day in the 3rd leg, which is the 3rd race.
All right. I'm going to start off the first race at Gulfstream Park today with 5. Tempura. I think you'll see Tempura up the performance in the second route and 3rd race after a layoff. Number 7, the Club. This guy's been off since November the 23rd, but that bullet work on January the 7th suggests she's ready to return and run. Number 6, BG. Big G, Big B, Big B. Got the maiden win in the 6th try, so I'm not the biggest fan of that at all, but did run a little bit of a Z pattern. It was a kind of a 50-50 for me, a coin toss between that and the 4. Musical Romance, as you mentioned, came over from England, bred for the grass, but didn't really run at the first tier tracks over in England, like Kempton. And then it came over here and hasn't found its form yet. So if it does find its form, I do think the 4-horse has a shot. I think this race is a little open if the 5 doesn't get out, or with all the speed. I mean, I think anything can happen in here, really. So I bet all to start off my pick 3. I have the 4-7 in the next leg. And then like you, Charles, I singled up the 1 in the 3rd leg. But I didn't stake half of my claim, because we do have a $100 budget that we work with here. And with that $100 budget, we have to make all of our bets just as if we had 100. Race number 1, Charles likes the 8, 1, 5, 6, and box. Really like the 8-horse in race number 1. All right, so keep that in mind as you put your bets together. And typically when Charles speaks, as I mentioned before, he is the E.F. Hutton of horse racing. When he speaks, by golly, you better listen. You ready? So number 2, we like, and if like Charles, if you like particular horses, and I don't mean Charles over here, the one that talks too much with the 49ers hat on. I mean, if you like horses like Charles B, ones that might actually win, hit us up in the comment section too. I just give you a hard time, man. Like I said, you only joke with the ones you love, and I never joke with Terry. All right. So anyway, race number 2, 5.5 furlongs, maiden claiming $12,500. The profile of a winner favors horses with early speed. In fact, 49% of the horses so far have gone wire to wire. And as far as the post positions are concerned, it's fair.
49.
So you don't have to worry much about that. So if wire to wire is the way, Charles, I think there's going to be one in here that's a little bit of a standout to get up to the front, and you're going to have to pass at some point.
Yeah, that'll be the 7 here. Simulation odds, simulations for the pace says basically 75% chance of getting to the lead at the quarter pole. It would be the 7, and I back that up 100%. I really do believe this horse is going to have the lead. And then you got a couple others that might pressure him, but he's going to have the lead. And then when it comes to the odds, we got the 4 horse, just slightly over even money. It looks like, yeah, even money. And the morning line is 2.5 to 1
I'm
odds.
screwing you up here a little bit.
Yeah, you are.
I was notified that I accidentally crossed out the wrong horse, so I'm correcting that as we go. I'm sorry. So back to race number 2. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. And then the 5 horse. Oh no, he scratched. So never mind about that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. The 8 horse here in this race. Simulation odds are almost 4 to 1 odds, and the morning line is 8 to 1. So that might be something you might want to look at too.
Yeah, indeed. Race number 2. Hopefully, I got the scratches correct here on this. We do have the 1 out. See the arrows indicating which horses are dropping in class, moving in class, all down in class for this maiden, flat. Do we have any risers? No, we don't. Most of the horses are dropping. This 7 horse is the one that you're going to have to catch. There's no question about it. Has a plus advantage through 5 furlongs. Through 2 furlongs of 6, and then through 4 furlongs. So this horse is going to be on the lead in all likelihood. A lot of the horses are in the middle and back. This 2 as a lone P could have a good shot at it too. Could get a good trip, Charles. When the trip is over, how are they going to line up?
Yeah, I see the 7 pretty much going wire to wire here. It's on the dirt track, so it's not on the all weather, so you have a better chance of going wire to wire. He has tons of speed, drops in class. He's below the claiming price, and he's back on dirt today. So I think everything says a go for that horse. The 4 is my second choice here. This horse ran second last 4 times. So this is a bridesmaid, never the bride. Well bet the last time out. So this horse has been knocking on the door. And then the 8 horse, a little bit of a price horse here, but I still think this horse has got a little shot because there's a huge drop here. You're going a straight maiden into a maiden claiming. And Chantal is on this horse. So look for something from this horse. And then my price horse would be the 6. This horse has some speed.
Doesn't it concern you that they drop just straight from, like the top to the bottom of the maiden special weight to the maiden claiming?
Sometimes that could be alarming, but sometimes they just say, you know what, we need to get him going or going and just get it going.
Or you're going to get him gone too.
Yeah, but there was not much to show in that one race, so I wouldn't be too worried about it personally. And so the 6 horse is my price horse here. He has some speed to possibly steal this race, but ran 3rd last time out. He definitely fits with this type of group.
And you have a pick 4 bet here?
Yeah, and my pick 4, I took the all button here because of that 8, mainly because of that 8. So I got all the horses in this race, so I'm a winner in this race already. And then I go to my
life.
Yeah, well, hey, there's always a first time for everything. And then I got my best bet of the day at the second leg of it, which is race number 3. And then I go with my top 2 picks and the 3rd leg of it, and then my top 2 picks in the 4th leg of it.
All right. So Charles B here, he agrees with a lot of agreement. The 4, the 6, and the 8 horses that we all have. He's going to do a boxed. It looks like probably an exacta, I would guess, or maybe a trifecta. But those are the 3 horses Charles likes. I like in the race number 2, the 4 horse, 4-7, kind of tough, but I like Too Much Vino, top last race speed figure. It is the lone PC horse in here at Gulfstream Park 6 times, has a quartet of seconds, so it hasn't quite gotten over the hump yet, but it'll be in the mix. And then first time Lasix. That 7 horse, real good, strong chance to go wire to wire. So I mentioned 49% so far have gone wire to wire at 5.5 furlongs on the dirt track. This one has a 75% chance to get to the lead. So if you take the two numbers and you multiply them together, 74.82% times 49, if this horse has odds of 9-5 or better, then that horse is a fair value just based upon the percent chance that it has to go wire to wire. Number 6, Oasis Jack, showed speed in the second start of its career. It gets Lasix today and a maintenance workout in between. So I think you're going to see some improvement out of that one. And then finally, number 8, Oopsie Doopsie, is that lone maiden special weight dropper. I question if that's going to be enough. It's tough to tell to me. Maybe the Lasix helps here. But I have to say, Charles, when I see a drop like that, when there's not like, it's like taking an elevator that just falls straight down. There's no stops in between. That kind of concerns me a little bit because when you take an angle, when you drop like that, when you hit the bottom, it's kind of painful.
Yeah, if you hit the bottom, yes.
Okay, well, best angle, trainer gets the client win in the race on the drop and gets claimed. That's the goal. I think that probably is the goal here too. I mean, I think basically looking at it, that's why I mentioned it's probably going to be gone at the end of the race to somebody else. But I'm a little bit concerned on that drop being a little bit concerning. First pick 5 race. So this is Melvin Torres over there for starting in race number 1. He's got the 3, 5, 6 with the 4. Is that 4 through 7? 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. With the 1, with the 2, 4, 5, 7, with the 3 through 10. So that's a little bit of a prime rib budget right there. But make sure you take a look at that one, mark it down, screenshot it, take a look at those horses. And like Charles and like Melvin, if you have ideas that you want to share, please do. It's a community. We're all trying to find winners in here. And usually Scary Creations too has some really good picks too. When so Scary puts the picks up there, you're going to want to pay attention to those as well. If Scary's with us today down there in Houston. Race number 3, Charles, is next on our list of things to discuss. This one is 6 furlongs, another maiden, but this one special weight, $53,000. These are state breds. The profile of a 6 furlong winner does favor early speed. 38% go wire to wire. There is a slight inside 3 bias. Everything else plays kind of fairly. And in race number 3, Charles, again, we have a one horse that looks like it's got the biggest chance to get the lead. And the one you and I appear both to be most confident is going to be the winner today. So you might look elsewhere.
Well, yeah, thanks for jumping on my bandwagon. Okay, the one horse, the simulation for speed, 50, well, basically 57%. I do see this horse going wire to wire. Possibly the 3 could challenge a little bit, but I see that horse going wire to wire. And the same thing with the odds. What are they saying? 1-2, and he's slightly over even money right now, so he's 65, I believe. I'm hoping for even money today, and that's what I'm going with that horse.
It doesn't
And
look
everybody
like
else,
those simulated odds, though. It looks like 1-5.
I know.
So, Hamdi, you talk about which horse is one of the strong. Charles and I both agree that this horse on the card looks like the most likely winner, I would say, on the card today. I have another one a little bit later on I think is a pretty good winner, be a pretty good price. But I have to say there's one horse I think is the one to beat, at least in the first half of the card.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And then when it comes to with the odds, and like we said, the one, or like we already talked about that. But the 3, it's showing basically, well, almost 4-1 odds.
Yeah, like
simulation
7-2.
odds. And then you got 5-1 morning line, so it might be a little value there.
Indeed. So when we go back and look at the pace setup here, you have, the 2 and the 4 are first-time starters. Everybody else so far has shown that it wants to close or has not really gotten off to a good break. That's probably a better way to look at it because these are all non-winners. The 6 horse does have some early speed, as does the 1. But what's interesting is that 1 not only has early speed, all the way over here on the left by itself, has shown early speed, but it has a late pace advantage. And of the horses that have run, the early pace, late pace combination gets a +11. Anything that's +10 or above, I play unquestionably, no matter what the form looks like on paper. Those horses usually do come through. They may not win, but they're always very competitive for the win, Charles. So that's the way that race breaks down there. Obviously, we both like the 1. So why don't you tell us your reasons behind the 1 horse as your $50 bet today?
Yeah, I'm using half of my budget on 1 horse. But
Yes, indeed.
yeah, I like this horse a lot. I mean, this horse ran second last two times, been knocking on the door. This is his second one after a layoff. So I mean, look, he had a layoff and he was knocking on the door two times. He adds Lasix today. He's definitely the speed of the speed. So I just see a wire to wire here. The six horse, interesting horse here. The trainer gets 21% when he's got the horse off for 90 plus days. So you got a fresh horse here, solid workouts. He has a little speed, but he's going to be more of the exotics. Tyler's aboard. And then I have a first time starter as my third choice is the two horse here. This horse is bred for speed, solid workouts. Mott gets 17% overall in the year. Mott's not really known for getting first time starters to win, but he puts a great foundation under them. So they're always ready. They're totally physically ready for it. And then my price horse here is the five. Tactical speed cuts back in distance today. Also gets the first time Lasix.
I'm going to go with that one horse too. Mama Maria should be on the lead. Ran the top last race, beat figure by a decent margin last time out. And that really small resume of races says the second off the bench will be better than the first. So all these other horses are going to have to come up, or the Mama Maria is going to have to regress. Number 4, Minksky is the next two picks for me are first-time starters, the 2 and the 4, the 4 and the 2. I like the workouts on Minksy a little bit better than I like the workouts for West Bank. And I also like the odds a little bit better at 12-1 versus 3-1, which looks like the second choice according to the odds maker down there, our good friend Peter Aiello. We'll be catching up with him when we're down there at Gulfstream Park as well. And then I have the 3 horse as my final selection in here. Guardian Angel, consistent performer. And it's really the only other experienced horse in here that showed that it can reach at least in the same neighborhood as far as your numbers are concerned as the 1, just in case the 1 doesn't hit, because I was thinking about doing another pick 3 or something along those lines. I'm going to do a trifecta here with the 2 first-time starters, the 1, 2, and 4, with the 1, 4, just in case something does clip that 1 at the wire, with the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 as my back end of my trifecta. Next up is race number 4, Charles. We got about 10 minutes, I think, to the first race at Gulfstream Park. Race 4 is 5.5 furlongs. It's on the all-weather, optional claiming, 35,000 for a purse of 39 grand. Again, we showed this yesterday, but in the optional claiming ranks, let's see. All right. If you do see a horse that has the number in here, like this one does, it means it is for sale. If, like the 1 and the 2, there is not a number there, it is not for sale. So keep that in mind when you're looking through the past performances. I use Brisnet. And so does Charles. A lot of folks like the daily racing form. There's a lot of them out there, so whatever you're comfortable with. But the horses that feel the most comfortable at 5.5 furlongs on the all-weather track typically have tactical speed, 27% so far, wire to wire. Slight rail bias, 2 through 7 play fair, and 8 and out gets a bonus, Charles. And the speed is indeed going to factor here in this short all-weather race. Looks to me like it can be a competitive start.
Yeah, I mean, you got the 7 horse here at basically 29% have a chance to have the lead at the quarter pole, but the 3 is right there with 21%, and so is the 1 and the 4 with 16 and 15%. I mean, oh, I even forgot about the 7. I mean, the 7, excuse me, 8 at 17%. I mean, so yeah, you got a lot of horses here that could go winging a little bit. I do believe personally, I think the 7 will have the lead, but it ain't going to be by a large margin. So, but then now with the simulation odds, you have the 2 horse that is almost 6-1 odds, and they're about right. They have it right where it should be, and same thing with the 7. They have it about where it should be, and the 8 not far off. It's
Yeah,
supposed to
so it
be two
looks
to
like
one and
Pete did a good
slightly over
job
2
with
to 1.
this line,
Yeah, it was really
for
tight.
sure. I know he gets a little bit of heat sometime from his morning lines down there. The 6 is not in this race. Hopefully I got that right. And if you look at this race shape, oh my Lord, everybody wants to be on the front, right? So you got the 1, the 3, the 7, and the 8. Those are all boxed off. Their early pace numbers suggest they're going to be the ones pulling the cart. These 2 back here, boy, woo, they both have some late pace. If this 5 horses, if they go too fast, these 2 are going to have a good time chasing and running them down. Obviously, if they go too fast, some of these legs are going to tire. So you might want to look for the horses that have the most late legs. And, well, I think this one's going to be a barn burner and anything could happen. Charles, what do you say?
Yeah, I do, but I think I have three of the speed horses in my top four picks. The seven is my top pick. I think he's going to have the lead overall. He adds Lasix and blinkers today. He was well bet last time out. So even if he doesn't quite get the lead, he has enough to sit right there with them. My second choice is the ones that are going to be flying from the clouds. The two horse. This horse drops in class today. Back on all weather track today, and this horse has that tactical closing speed. So if he could sit a little closer than normal, he could pounce and win this race. If he could do that. The eight horse is my third choice here. He does have a little speed too, a tactical speed that is. Ran second the last two times out. This is his third time after a layoff. Well bet the last two times out. So this horse has been knocking on the door. And then my price horse here is the four horse. This horse ran third last time out and has some of that speed to go with them or even have the lead.
So looking at this race here, maybe we're missing something because we have Roberto Rodriguez coming in with the 5 horse, and Charles says he really loves the 5 horse in this race. Let's take a look at the 5 horse here in race number 4. The Quincy Cafe horse is coming off, dropping a little bit out of the optional claiming, and then it ran in a futurity race. Didn't really come close here. Back here at Laurel, 7 furlongs. The maiden missed by a nose. You have Paco Lopez, so you know you're going to get an aggressive ride out of this horse. Absolutely has the first-time Lasix. Mendelssohn, sired 5, does extremely well here. Best bet of the day, win, place, and show on Quincy Cafe. All right, so you got the Mendelssohn up here as the papa. Charles B says maybe we might want to think about adding that one in somewhere. Charles, what do you think?
Well, I mean, this was a pretty wide open race overall. I mean, so yeah, I mean, you look at that horse has got some huge class drop if you look at that, but then so does a couple others. So I mean, yeah, he definitely has a shot. I will not say he doesn't. So yeah, you could
well,
throw it in there.
I trust Charles B enough that I'm going to put him in my in the back end of my trifecta there. And instead, I'm going to take the 4 out and pop that one in there. And by golly, that 4 is probably going to win the race now, Charles. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the top 4 horses in my view. I have Extendo as my top. Well, we're in race 4. Yes, Extendo, the 7 horse. This guy's been off since November, but has a really nice bullet workout. And I like when they put that bullet and go back to the track. So bullet and go for me. Marley Luck, beaten favorite last time out. Trainer Fausto Gutierrez. He's had the favorite fail 15 times and came back next time around with that same horse to win 6 of those 15. It's a good number. Number 2, Unified Weekend, dropping in class, is going to go back to the all-weather track where he won his debut with the number on par with the 2 favorites and does have a pretty strong late pace advantage in a field full with speed. And then number 1, Smart Coverage, going to come in from Woodbine for trainer Safi Joseph Jr. And when I look at the all-weather numbers, and this was a big key for me, they are a little bit better than the rest of anything else in here. And you might get a good price on that 1 horse too. And don't overlook that 5 horse in there. Race number 1, Maribel Quintero says she likes the 6 horse in race number 1. Race number 1 is got about 10 minutes to go. So if you like anything else like Maribel, Charles, Roberto, or our good friend Charles B, let us know in the comment section. All right, Charles, let's move on to race number 5 at Gulfstream Park. This one, like the first race, is 1 mile on the turf. If you look at the profile of a 1 mile winner on the grass course at Gulfstream Park, again, 30% go wire to wire, but tactical speed, probably want to be second, maybe third, coming around that first to quarter mile marker. You get a little bit of a bonus from the rail. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7, they play a little bit above par. 8 and out, there is a little bit of a penalty. And again, our simulator gives us a sense of what this early race might look like. And again, it looks like there could be some competition, although Alley Oop Johnny should be the one they have to eventually pass.
Yeah, I mean, basically 45% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. But I think Charles will have something to say about that. Charles Chrome has 27% chance of having the lead too. So I think no, but I do believe both of them will be winging out there. And they're also saying that the two horse has also chance there. But I do believe the first two I mentioned will be out there winging.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to the simulation odds, look at the one. I mean, basically close to even money, what would it be, 4 to
That's
5?
3 to 5.
3 to 5. Jeez.
Yeah, so we ran 1,000 simulations using their speed number. The one horse odds worked out to be 3 to 5. That's how frequently it won.
Yeah, but it's the 8 to 1 morning line, and that's it. I mean, everyone else is oh well, the nine a little bit. The nine's simulation odds is 9 to 1, and morning line is 15.
So a little bit of an overlay there too, perhaps.
Mhm.
If we look at the race shape for race number 5, the 9 is out, so we don't have to worry about that. We're in race number 5, right? The 9 is out. Did I not scratch it on the show sheet there? But the 9 is definitely out of this race. The 8 and the 2 are going to be your pilots in all likelihood. They do want to be on the front. They both have the early pace to get there. This guy's got a nice little spot right here. The 7, these EP horses sitting in between the early speed and the other pressure horses could get a nice trip. Same with these PCs. The one horse, if the pace is too fast, will be patient. If it's too slow, move forward. The 5 will do the same. And the 6, it is a closer, and it does have the most late pace. So a lot of these horses should get exactly the trip they want. If they get the trip they want, Charles, which one will benefit and collect the big check?
Yeah, it looks like to me the 10. The 10 has that tactical speed. I think this horse could. I mean, most likely it's going to be on the closing side of it, but it can sit very close to these leaders. This horse also cuts back in cuts back in distance today. Uh, this horse is hot at the claim box 3 times within a year's time. Trainer gets 23% second after a claim. So this horse is ready to rock and roll, in my opinion. The 5 is my second choice here. This horse ran third last 2 times. The horse drops today. Maker gets 16% when he has him off for 46 plus days. And you know what? I think this you might want to claim this horse. It might be a good claim there for
If
this
I had
one.
your money.
Yeah. And then the 3 horse is my third choice here. Ran second last time out. This one definitely should be closing. This is his second time after a layoff, so he should be about ready to rock and roll. And then my price horse here is the 8. He drops in class today, has that tactical speed, uh, more on the front end part of it, and he has Castellano on this horse, so that he'll be able to guide him all the way through.
So when the horse has your name on it, you're not one of those people that has to play it just because it has your name on it?
No, there's only one of me, and that's it.
Oh, rim shot. All right. So in race number 5, I have Grand Journey too. The 10 horse is my top pick. That Gulfstream Park grass record is kind of hard to ignore. 14 races, 6 wins, second and a third. So essentially all or nothing. It'll either probably win or run off the board. Does have a couple of maintenance workouts between races. So I think the odds are that it will hit the board, hopefully win, since we both have it there. The one horse, this horse, I've learned my lesson not playing the simulated favorite because I've ignored them at my own peril, and a lot of them have come through at good prices. Yesterday, for example, I forget the name of the horse at Parks, but it was, I think, the one horse, and it went off at like 10 to 1 or something like that. And it was an overlay, and it won, and won easy too, and killed one of my pick 4s. But looking at Roses, has the top early pace late combination to go along with those strong simulated odds. Number 5, Newsbreak, dropping in class in the second race after 14 months in the barn. Hasn't run at the claiming level since the maiden claiming rank, so this horse should be facing lighter company than it's accustomed to. And then finally, number 3, It's a Gamble. It's been a consistent performer. Resume says he'll up his game in round 2 off the bench, but it's one of those horses that pretty much runs the same race over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying, Charles?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have a lot of upside in the horse. You don't have a lot of downside in the horse, but you know it's going to give a pretty good effort, and that good effort could be enough to find the winner's circle. Race number 6 is a 5.5 furlongs. Again, on that all-weather track. Maiden optional claiming. So a lot of maiden races today, Charles. Those are always my favorite. It says the all-weather does favor tactical speed. 27% go wire to wire. Slight rail and a bonus. 2 through 7 play fair, and 8 and out. I think there's actually a slight rail penalty, but 2 through 7 play fair, and 8 and out. There's a little bit of a bonus. Again, our pace setup, or at least our simulations, show that the one horse Megan making money will be Megan making the lead.
Yeah, basically almost 62% chance on that to make the lead at the quarter pole. Yeah, that definitely seems about right who's going to be on the lead, but there is other speed in this race. You have the 2 horse, and they're saying at 15%, and everyone else have shown something. So it's not going to be an easy lead. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, be challenged for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then when you got the simulation odds, the 1 is definitely an overlay here. Simulation odds is slightly over 4-1, is getting 8-1, and then we have the 3 horse. Should be at even money, and it's getting 6-1 right now, and the 4 horse should be almost 2-1. The simulation odds is getting slightly over 3-1. So those basically all 3 of those horses are good overlays.
You know what's great about Gulfstream Park is they'll tell you they have 2 minutes to post, and you still have 5.
Yeah,
right. I don't know what's up with that, but like Charlestown could be horrible like that too. Race shape here, boy, it sure looks like, and I've seen this race shape too many times. Again, you got all these horses over here. All the down arrows are horses dropping in class. But so far in their non-winning careers, this group right here, this quartet, have not gotten off to good starts. Maybe the drop in class will help out. 5 horses, a first-time starter. But the 1 and the 6, these 2 are going to, I think, be towards the front in this short race. I've seen too many race shapes like this where one of these 2 horses, even though on paper they don't look like it, but just because of the fact that they're out in the front, they become more courageous. I've seen shapes like this where one of those 2 horses wins way too many times to ignore either one of them without at least giving them some good consideration. After consideration, Charles, what you got?
Well, so the 1 and the 6, which they're saying right there on the odds too. Yeah, I have both in my picks. But I have the 6 winning this race. This horse ran second last time out. Has the speed actually to actually have the lead a little bit. So Rosario's on this horse. So you got a lot of good things talking about this horse. He might get the lead, might sit in the catbird seat. The 7 horse here is my second choice. This horse drops in class. He ran second last time out. He's been off for 6 months, but you get solid works in him. He looks like he's ready to go. Remember, when they're maidens and they're off for 3 or 4 months, usually it's to get them all focused, refocused. And then the 2 is my third choice here. This horse drops in class today, ran second last time. He will be closing. He shows more on the closing side. And then my price horse is that 1. He has the speed to go wire to wire. Back on all weather. He adds the Lasix and blinkers today. So we're going to see a little bit different on this horse.
Funny, in this race, 7 horses. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 6, 7. So the only horse I think we're missing in there is the 5. So circle the 5, put it down, go to the bank, get as much money as you can. That's the one that's going to win because it's the only horse between you and I that we don't have. So a lot of disagreement on this race. I like the 4 horse in here. No action. First off the claim, 28% winning angle for trainer Rohan Crichton. That is an alpha angle for Rohan because typically he wins at 22% overall. Weld Hall, the 3 horse, did run the top last race. Speed figure last out. Has a couple of nice workouts in between races and has the potential to take that workout and improve in race 2 off the bench. Number 2, She's Spiteful. Built her speed figure, so the speed figure increased in every race since the debut. And this one is one of the droppers, a maiden special weight dropper. And then finally, number 1, Megan making money. It's going to be up front. I think changing to Paco Lopez is an indication that trainer Ron Potts thinks he has a winner here, and he does win 32% of the time when he takes a horse from turf, which is where Megan making her money. Tried her craft last time out to the all-weather. I'm going to do a pick 4. I probably, based upon your picks and my picks, should have started off with all in here, but I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 with 3, 6 with 2, 5, 6, 9 with 3-9. And Peter Aiello in my ear is telling me that indeed race one's about to get started. So here are our picks for race number one, Charles. Let's see how race number one plays out, right?
Yep.
Let's see. And Arabelle Basilio says likes the 8 horse in race number one. All right. Maribel again likes the 6
Yeah,
horse.
someone else liked the 8 horse and won. I forgot who it was.
Maybe Charles. I don't remember either because
Might have been.
I can't remember that far back. So right now, looking at the odds, the 4 horse is the favorite at 2-1, followed by the 6 horse at 3-1. So the bettors really aren't all that convinced that any one of these horses is going to win. The 6 horse right now is not interested in going into the gate. He's given the assistant starters there a hard time, the handlers, but now he goes in after having a little bit of a fit, circling the 7 a little bit to see if he's interested in going into the gates so far. Why do they circle them, Charles? Is that to make them a little disoriented or dizzy? Why
just make them refocus on what they're doing.
And now the 8 horse is in, so they're all in line. The gate's about ready to open, and the grass is flying, as is the, right now it looks like down on the rail, the 1 horse has taken the lead. So a little bit of a surprise there, but it is followed pretty closely by the 4 horse, 2 horses that were not predicted to be on the lead. The 7 horse and the 8 horse are a little bit more. 7 is kind of right behind that. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses that are all up on the lead, and then the 7 horse followed by the 4 in the back. Not too far off though. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 5 lengths difference from the nose of the 1 to the tail of the 4. They went through the opening quarter in 24 and 18 for a mile on the firm. For this level, maybe a little bit on the quick side. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something other than the 1 win. But Charles is certainly hoping at 8-1, the 1 does come home as the winner. The 5 horse, Tempora, sitting right off the 1's tail. And right now, the order really hasn't changed much at all. 5 horse is trying to creep up on the 1 horse. The 1 horse is still in there. The 8 horse is now making its move, Lamasco. It looks to me like they got good holds on all these horses. So I think it's going to be a mad dash to the finish line. Though it looks like the 5 horse has edged. I don't know. The 5 and the 1 are going at it. The 7's really trucking on the end here. I think that's the one to beat, folks, is the 7 horse. And the 7 horse is going to be hit the wire at 8-1.
The 4 is going to win this race.
No, the 7's going to win easy. It's going to go 7-1-4 is how it went. Come on, Charles, you've watched enough races now. You can tell what, by the way they're moving coming out down the stretch, who's going to take one.
Well, they were all doing good, actually.
Yeah, and you could tell coming out. That's why I alled this race. I shouldn't have alled it now because the 7 was my second choice in there at 8-1. Again, interestingly, it did not get the lead like the forecaster said, but at 8-1 morning line, it said 4-1 was the truer odds. So at 8-1, that horse was a value bet because your odds that you were getting at the window were better than what
and
the
the
odds
1 was
were
a
on
value
the track.
bet too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 1 as well. So, all right. So the 7 is in. I think that's taking us to race 7 now, right, Charles? That's where we're going next. All right. Correct. So sometimes I lose track of where I'm at. That's thank you for keeping me on pace, Charles. So in race number 7, we're looking at a 6 furlong optional claiming 16,000. The purse is 34 grand. At 6 furlongs on the dirt track, everybody knows Gulfstream dirt tracks fast, early speed. 38% of the horses go wire to wire. There is a slight inside 3 bias in race number 7. Our forecaster again here, a lot of scratches. The 1, the 2 are out. The 5 is out. So looking at that, it looks to me like, well, that enhances the 7's chance singing the oldies to get to the front. And I'm sure that that's what you would hear in Charles's house if indeed he was taking a shower, is somebody singing the oldies.
Someone's singing the oldies. The 7, they're saying basically 32% chance, but there's a lot of speed in this race. So I'm not going to be surprised if anybody else jumps out in front, like the 6 or the 7. I mean 6 or the 3. But there's plenty of speed in this race to say it. But 7, they're saying, is going to take the lead. And then when it comes to simulation odds, the one's an overlay, slightly over even money simulation odds, and you got 4-1 on the morning line. The 2 is almost 4-1, and the morning line says 6. And the 7 itself, slightly, well, almost 4-1 odds, and the morning line says 6-1. So those 3 horses are probably your overlays and something to look at.
Yeah, I would think with all the scratches, though, those numbers are all going to come down. I haven't been able to real time this yet. It's one of my projects that I got. I got so many projects that I really wish I had some help. I got so many things I got to do. One of these days I'll get them done, but we're going to get it to the point where we can real time it right here on the screen and yank out a horse and it'll recalculate the odds. That's coming, folks. Along. Speaking of coming, and something that's coming, upcoming, before I forget, I want to, next Thursday night, if you play these horse racing contests, can I have a gentleman on, Scott Fiedler, who wins a lot of money in these contests. And he's going to come on, and we're basically going to have a how to win a horse racing contest show next Thursday with somebody who's actually won a lot of money in these contests. And that'll be kickoff sometime around 8:30 thereafter Eastern next Thursday. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to be I'm looking forward to that because I play a lot of these contests and I'm getting sick and tired of losing to people who pick 4 across the board. That drives me nuts, Charles. All right. Anyway, race number 7. I did mention there are some scratches in here. The 1's out, the 2's out, the 5's out. So it takes it a little bit away from every different position. That means the 6 and the 7 are your likely pace setters, but it did take a lot of the early speed out of there. So I think it really enhances the 6 and the 7's shot to get to the lead. The 9 horse does have the most late pace, and I think you can see that horse do pretty well as well, because I don't think it's going to be all that far off of the pace. How do you see the race finishing up, Charles?
Yeah, with all the scratches here, I had to basically re-handicap the whole race. And yes, I have the 6 as my first choice here.
He didn't really re-handicap it. He just went in my computer and changed them around a little bit.
Yeah, well, I had to do something. Anyway, the 6 has speed. This is the second after a layoff. You get the first time lay 6 here. He's well bet the last 2 times. This horse could take the lead or sit right off the lead. The 3 horse has that tactical speed, but more on the closing side of it. This horse won last time out. This horse is 4 for 6 lifetime, first time lay 6. So this horse is always a trier. So look out for that horse. Then the 9 horse is my third choice here for me. That horse is a closer. This horse won its maiden last time out. In my opinion, you get a jockey upgrade on this horse. And so this horse fits very well with these horses. And then my price play in this race is the 7. This horse won its maiden claiming last time out. Moves up in class, but kind of have to do that. And he fits with these type of horses now.
Speaking of the 7, paid $19.60 to win. So that's a good start to the pick 3. I just need to make sure that the 1 horse that we both agreed on in the back end comes home now. Now, when you hit a nice price on the horse on the top and you have a single at the end, do you regret it? Or do you think, well, I got this?
Oh, I personally think more I got this because my single is my confident bet anyway. So everything else is,
Everything. Yeah. So to me, I immediately go, man, I wish I had more on the back. Anyway, race number 7 for me, I like the 3 horse. Wheeling and Dealing ran the top last race speed figure. And when you look at the internal numbers, they were better from the beginning to the middle to the end. And it is the lone PC type. So Miss Wheeling and Dealing should be able to get the trip at once. Number 6, Angelic Girl has peak numbers for this crew. A little bit better in the 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers last time out. And it's another one that stands a chance to improve in the second start after a layoff. Number 7, Singing the Oldies. This one's coming off the maiden claiming 12,500 win. I'm not the biggest fan of maiden claiming risers, but the fact that it's likely to be on the lead with a lot of the other speed scratching out, I think this one has a bigger chance than it would have had prior to all the scratches. And number 4, Miss Area. This one has a late pace advantage over most of these. It has grown stronger race after race after race in its career. Quite frankly, was a tough call for me over the 9. I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta here with the 3, 6, 7, with the 3, 6, with the 3, 4, 6, 7, and the 9. which is going to bring us now to race number 8, Charles. And in race number 8, we're looking at a 5 furlong turf race. That's going to be pretty quick. I would imagine you're going to see horses that have a little bit of early speed do pretty well, because 42% go wire to wire. Post position, the rail, and 4 through 7 actually have a little bit of a discount, so it could be a little bit of a disadvantage. 2 through 3 play fair. 8 and out, there is a bonus. And if horses go wire to wire, Charles, at a big rates in race number 8, you got to look at the outside and the inside.
Yeah, definitely. Both of those horses. But, the one has got a 38% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. But then, like you said, the 9, 36% chance basically. And that's who I believe is going to have the lead at the quarter pole. But I'll tell you what, this is not an easy feat here to do. But I mean, look, it's a 5 furlong race, right? I mean, heck, that's the way it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah,
And
they're all
then when
going to.
it's
Oops, I'm
yeah,
sorry. I thought you were going to move on, so I was. Go ahead.
oh, the simulation odds. Well, the 1 is definitely an overlay. Looks like simulation odds of slightly over 3.5 to 1. And you got basically 6 to 1 morning line. And then that's about it on everybody else's, or they're overplayed.
All right. So race number 8. You mentioned it's a short race. Everybody wants to be in the front, but all but the 8 have similar early pace numbers. Even though, the simulator showed that a couple of horses have a big advantage, a lot of them are really close to each other. The 6 horse is the one that's shown a propensity to get to the front. So I think of all of it, it's likely to be, if I had to put it, I'd say this one is the speed of the speed. It also has the best early pace, late pace combination. Again, the 8 horse is the only one that doesn't have, even the 7's numbers are pretty similar to everything else in here. So I think they're going to be all nose to nose, tail to tail, pretty much right away, all the way. And then maybe somebody with a little late legs, or the speed of the speed takes this one home. Charles, which one do you have? Yeah, you got the 6 horse. You think the speed of the speed is going to take it home?
Yeah, I mean, I do believe the 9 might have his nose at the quarter pole out in front, but it's a very, like you said, tight race overall. And I see the 6 as my first pick. Ran second last time out. Jockey upgrade, in my opinion, it goes to Tyler. And you got a trainer at 20% when he has him 46 plus days off. So you got a really nice fresh horse in a sprint. That's where you want him. And then my second choice here is the 9, another speed horse, obviously. One last time out. Does move up in class though today. So there's the only down thing on this horse. The 5 horse is my third choice. This horse is totally 100% bred for turf. He won last time out. He moves up in class, but this is his third after a layoff. So you got to watch out for that horse at the end. And then my price horse here is the 1, which in simulation odds they're saying is a great value right now. One last time out. This horse is 3 for 5 on the turf. He has that tactical speed to be on the lead or sit just off of him if he has to.
Yeah, and we saw that simulated odd value horse come through in race number 1. So let's see if it can come through again in race number 8. I have the 5 horse, the one you did mention that you got to keep an eye on too. One Identity hasn't tried grass yet, but the horse is 3 for 3 on the all-weather, which can be an indicator of turf ability. And you mentioned that you thought it was bred well for the grass. Number 9, Trained to Artemis, been off since November the 27th. But the workouts getting ready, say she will hit the track firm, fit, and ready to go. Number 6, Love and Money. 2 things I guess you can never have enough of, right? Anyway, we'll challenge for the lead for sure. And then if you look at that workout on January the 7th at Palm Meadows, that was smoking fast. So keep an eye out for that 6 horse that Charles has on top. Finally, number 2, Admiral Hopper. I felt it was a tough call for me between this one and the 1 horse. But when you look at Admiral Hopper, it's one from the front, it's one from the middle, and it's one from the back. So it can win from anywhere on the track. So it's not trip dependent. And probably I should have went this one a little bit higher. But I'm going to do a 50-cent try, 569 with the 5-9 with the 1-2-5-6-9. And I know that Terry's doing the math. So hopefully I've struggled to stay under $100 the last couple of days. I did my best to stay under 100 today and to make up for the difference where I've screwed up in the past couple of days. So We'll see if that indeed shows to be the way, because for whatever reason, man, I'm off by $2, $6, and I keep using Twin Spires to do my bets, but I don't know. Just too many things going on at once. All right, the final race is 1 mile and 70 yards on the all-weather track. We haven't seen one at 1 mile and 70 for this day anyway. At 1 mile and 70, the profile of your typical winner does say that this is a fair surface, because 50% win from the front runner types and 50% run from the stalker closer types. And the post positions are mostly fair too. So I think in this situation, what you're looking for is absolutely the best horse. Maybe you can find a little bit of an overlay here. Maybe the 1 Machisma and 5 Rubzia. They're going to battle it out up front. Charles, outside of that, what else do you see?
Yeah, those two should be battling it out. And yeah, I mean, probably would agree with that. And then when it comes to simulation odds, let me see what we got here. The 8 horse.
It looks like the 9 too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the 8 and the 9, yeah. The 8 is basically almost 5-to-1 odds. Simulation odds. Morning line says 6, and the 9 is slightly over 2-to-1 on simulation, and you got over 3-to-1 on the morning line. So it's just got some value there.
Finally, the last time we're going to go ahead and look at the way to the winner's circle worksheet. 7 out in this race. You don't have a true front runner that always goes wire to wire, but the 1 and the 3 can either go pilot or co-pilot. Between the two, more likely that the 1 is going to be the one that's in front of them. Here is my creation, the left arrow horse. This 9 horse is a pressure closer type, but its typical early speed is going to put it in contention right from the beginning. Has a little bit of late pace, not as much as the 6 horse that does have the most late pace in here, Charles. This is one of those races. Well, anyway, we'll get to it after you tell us about your picks.
Well, personally, I personally think it's a 2-horse race here. I think it's between the 3 and the 2. The 3 is going to be out in front. The 9 is going to probably pressure him. Not the 9, excuse me. The 1 is probably going to pressure him. But anyway, I see the 3 out in front. He won last time out. He drops in class today. The trainer gets 33% when he drops him after a win. So you got a win and a drop at the same time. So I just say this one's a winner already. And then the 2 horse is my second pick. He drops in class today. He likes the distance, should be closing. He's a good closer. The 6 is my third choice here. He drops in class today. You got the trainer that's 22% overall. He's got some tactical speed, probably a little more on the closing side, but you just toss out that last race of that horse, and he fits 100% in this race. And then my price horse is that 9 down there. The horse won last time out, well bet last time. He was even claimed last time out. And this trainer gets 28% first after a claim, so puts him in the mix.
So Hamdi asked a little bit earlier about strong horses. I feel like this 9 horse that these left arrow horses usually run better than they look on paper too, because they're used to being more towards the back of the field, and then their normal pace takes them closer to the front, so they gain some courage. So I felt like the 9 horse for me was one of those. I was really thinking about doing a pick 4 and singling this one at the end, but I wanted to make sure I stayed under $100. So see, So Pretty, it's been strong on that all-weather, which I feel is important there. 25 times, because some horses like that surface, some horses hate it, some I guess are agnostic. But this one on the all-weather, 25 times, 111 of them, 4 seconds, 6 thirds, so always putting a good effort. That's 21 out of 25 in the trifecta. And at Gulfstream on the Tapeta is a nose away from winning both of those races at Gulfstream Park. I think one was at 1 mile and a 16th and one was at 1 mile and 70 yards. This horse is just a hair away from winning both of them distant rides at Gulfstream on the Tapeta. Number 3, Rubisa won her last, drops in class, another that is a fan of the all-weather track, 7 times out, 2 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. 2, Short Circuit, taking a sizable drop here and will be closing late, which, I think is the preferred route on the Gulfstream all-weather track as well, even though the numbers say it's 50-50. And then finally, number 8, Kosia improved her pace to the first half mile of the last race. And again, another that's performed well on the all-weather. I really try to focus on that, at least for me, with horses that have done well on the synthetic surface again, because it seems to me that they love it, they hate it, and there's really nothing in between. On that all-weather, 11 times out, 3 wins, a second, and 5 thirds. So that's 9 out of the 11 in the trifecta, which is how I'm going to close the show with a 3-9 over to 2-3-9 over to 2-3-6-8-9 as my trifecta, Charles.
Yeah, and I have an exacta box with my top 2.
If you're going to do some exacta boxes or trifectas today at Mahoning Valley, it is the free track over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description down below. You'll see in race number 1 at Mahoning Valley, the 7-horse Gehrig is the top selection. Again, just go over there, absolutely free. If you're going to play some college basketball today, our good friend, the Professor Sides, has a pick for the day on TikTok. So if you like TikTok, go check that out. He'll have his best bet of the day for basketball over there. And if you like what you saw today, a couple ways you can support the show. Head on over to our shop. Again, a link in the description down below. Pick yourself up some horse racing today gear. That'd be a lot of fun, and we certainly appreciate it. And do want to say thank you for the folks who have been picking up some gear of late. And right now, for the next today, all your shipping is free. So you'll save a little bit of money on that cost as well. Looking at our full race picks for the day, Charles, they look like this at Gulfstream Park. Do you have any final thoughts before you get up and get out of here today?
No, can't wait till all the scratches at Aqueduct tomorrow because of the rain out there. But yeah, everyone be safe out there. The weather is changing again. So just be safe and let's get some winners.
Yes, indeed. Charles and I will be back tomorrow to do Aqueduct at the same time. On Friday, our good friend Tom will make it back. We'll do Foreign Fridays for Randwick. Saturday, it looks like we're going to do Fairgrounds because they have a very big Kentucky Derby Stakes race there. The Lecomte will be running at the Fairgrounds. That'll be a lot of fun. Want to say thank you to Katie Singh and Jason Matthew Hurt for giving us a thumbs up on Facebook. YouTube doesn't tell us who gives us the thumbs up, but if you'd be kind enough, please hit us up with a thumbs up on YouTube. And if you like what you saw, subscribe, hit the bell, let us know in the comment section what you think. Tell your friends about us. And again, if we hit something, they do have that thanks button now over there. Go ahead and click that and let us know that you think what we do. I don't know how that even works, but apparently it's available now. All right, Charles. Well, that takes us through the wire to wire, race to race. Race number 2 coming up in about 6 minutes or so over there. And any final thoughts, my man?
No, that's it for me. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Indeed. As always, we hope that you have a fantastic hump day. Thanks for joining me today, Charles. You know, you got to get that ugly hat off your head next time around. But until we get back together again, we hope that everything you do, your day ends up in the
winner circle.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Charles and I look forward to joining you again tomorrow for Aqueduct.